As today's Capital Journal column in the Journal suggests, one of the things Vladimir Putin is learning during the Ukraine crisis is that if you have oil and gas, you'll never be lacking for friends, and much will be forgiven and much will be forgotten. That's coming true on several levels. You know, when the crisis began, there were some people who thought that because Russia's economy is based so heavily on its oil and gas exports that it was vulnerable to economic sanctions. And to some extent that's true, but I think lots of players have come to the table in the last couple of weeks indicating they're not really ready to punish Vladimir Putin and Russia for what they've done in Ukraine. You've had European nations that are reluctant to engage in more sanctions against the Russians because they depend on Russian natural gas for perhaps a third of their energy. You've had international energy companies that have sent CEOs to Moscow in the last couple of weeks to say, we're not going to stop our cooperation with Russia. We're going to continue to work with Russia to extract oil and gas from the Russian energy sector. And most interestingly, you now have China about apparently to complete a 10-year-long negotiating process with the Russians in which the Russians will agree to export natural gas to China, building a pipeline along the way. And in fact, top Russian officials said last week that this deal is likely to be done before Vladimir Putin visits China in May. This is going to be strategically significant because it suggests that over the long haul, if the Europeans to the west of Russia aren't interested in buying its gas, the Russians are developing a nice option to the east in China. That's going to increase the security of Vladimir Putin. And it's going to cause some waves in the West, I suspect, and raise questions about what China's attitude toward the newly assertive Russia is going to be now and in the long run.